This is my, well, I was gonna say this is my second to last day of teaching for the school year, but it's over. I'm here a lot later than I thought I would be. There's a lot to set up before going out on maternity leave. So tomorrow is my last day. I'm basically finishing out the month of January, and then I'm taking off February. The baby's due in like 2 weeks, and then March, April, May. We have like 3 days of school in June, and then I will go back in August when we start school again. And this is all new to me. I have a 5-year-old, but he was born on the last day of school. I just worked up until the end. I was like getting my master's degree. I walked in my master's ceremony and went straight from that to like a graduation slash baby shower party thing. I had to defend my thesis at like this big. That was fun. They were like afraid I was gonna go into labor during my thesis presentation, my thesis defense. So yeah, you know, it's always something. Now it's COVID and everything is a little crazy. I'm gonna have a different video about that with my like hospital bag and all that. So anyway, I just wanted to quickly go over how I set up sub plans to be out for quite a while. I had never done this before, and I was kind of looking like on YouTube like for some ideas and some tips and stuff. And most of them were more for like elementary classes. And so currently I teach 6th grade history and 7th grade English. And so that is like 6 different periods of students, and it can be like a lot to keep track of. And for a sub to come in is a little bit tough for them, just because like, you know, now it's January, so it's been a semester or so of like some things we kind of have down now, and I need to remember to communicate those things to the substitute and then have lesson plans and all of that. So this will of course be different for anybody, like depending on kind of like how your classes work out, or if you teach different stuff or whatever. But sometimes it's just nice to see like an example. So what I am doing is I put together a folder. So it's just like the sub folder, and I shared access of course like with the sub, and then like my principal and vice principal as well, just in case, like what if my sub has to be out, you know, like what if she gets sick or something. And actually there is going to be a period of time where she had something already pre-scheduled, so they will have a different sub here. And so I just did the settings so that, you know, those people can access it when they need it and kind of like make copies of things. So my long-term sub herself can like edit the documents. Everyone else just has like viewer access, but you know, maybe keep those things in mind that you might need to share it with like a couple more people, or maybe like one coworker who teaches the same thing as you do, just in case like, I don't know, your sub has any questions and they want to like run something by them, they can kind of show them what you mean or whatever. So try not to just like leave them hanging entirely if you can. And the thing is with a long-term sub is like technically they're like apparently like paid to write sub plans, so you don't have to leave full sub plans like the same way you would when you're just like out for a day, but leave them like with like as much as you possibly can. I couldn't imagine just like asking somebody to walk in here and like figure all of this out on their own. This is a lot. So I left pretty detailed plans. So here is my particular situation, just so that some of this makes sense. For my 6th grade history classes, we are currently piloting a textbook. So we have a physical copy of the textbook, we have an online version, and the students and I have been like learning that online version this month. We've had like 3 or 4 weeks with it. So I'm not like super great at it. The kids are not super great at it either, but I had them do like a quiz today of going into their online textbook and making sure they're able to access. I just picked like 3 things, like where are your assignments, where are these things called sync blasts, and then the online textbook, of course, like could you find, if I told you to find this chapter in this lesson, can you find it? Because it's just not fair for the sub to like, you know, if a kid raises their hand like, how do I get to that? And they're like, I don't know, this is brand new curriculum for me. So make sure your kids can like help each other, and like enough of them kind of know how to navigate anything that you have online. So I will show like what my sub plans look like. I'll stick them over here. So what I did is just made sub plans for the rest of the quarter. We go by quarters in my school district. So right now we are in third quarter, and it goes for 6 more weeks maybe. So I wrote about 6 more weeks of sub plans. So I just broke them up by week. So we've got the day, and then whatever chapter that we are on. So it helped me to kind of see like, okay, how much longer should we spend on this chapter? And then the sub will know as well. And then what like lesson are we on within that chapter? So for example, we are in ancient China, and like Monday they're gonna go into the Han Dynasty and the Han leaders. And then in the next column, what is the activity that you're gonna do for that unit and topic. So with any curriculum, like you're not gonna do every single little activity. So I tried to go through and preview all of them and figure out which ones were like the most worthwhile for the kids and like kind of easiest to like explain and understand and push out and all of that. I put all of those things in there, and also like you're gonna have to work with like your administration or maybe your district, like the IT people, to get your long-term sub like access to the curriculum. Like they'll need their teacher login. You shouldn't have to give them like your login information. They should be set up with their own account, but you know, maybe that doesn't happen like day one. Maybe there's a little bit of a delay. So I actually like scheduled some assignments to go out those first couple of days. So they'll be popping up on student screens automatically, just in case something happens, you know, with the sub and her login, or if she was just kind of overwhelmed and couldn't quite figure out how to assign things or whatever. It's not easy. It took me a while to figure it out. And so, you know, the added stress on top of like learning everybody's names and everything, I was like, let me just set up the first couple things to go out for you automatically. So the curriculum in itself can be like a little bit dry, you know, any curriculum is if you're just going by that, but that's also the easiest thing to do, especially for a substitute. And if you teach a specific subject like I do, you know, English or history, the person coming in might not be their thing that they are an expert in. So, you know, they may not be able to like improvise in the way that you are. So you want to leave them some concrete stuff to do. So I also found like some YouTube videos, like TED Ed videos and stuff that we've used in the past and linked those. You could link like some Newsella articles and things like that, because if you know your curriculum well enough, like, yeah, okay, this article does, you know, match up with what we're talking about here. Whereas somebody else is like, oh yeah, this is also about like ancient China, but maybe it's like totally the wrong dates or something like that. You know, you can't always expect somebody else to be able to improvise the stuff that you have done for a long time. So include, you know, some links to videos and things like that if you can, little articles, if you can find just any other fun online stuff. So that fills quarter 3. They're finishing ancient China and then going into the ancient India unit. I did plan everything out like to the day. And of course, you know, if they get a little ahead or a little behind, that's fine. But at least it's kind of like, as the person who has taught this topic before, not really this curriculum, but this topic, this is how long I'm guessing it will take to get through everything. So then at least there's just like a baseline of things to go off of. Fourth quarter, we are piloting a whole new textbook that I have not seen because we don't have it yet. So I didn't write lesson plans for quarter 4. I'm gonna try to like check in at that point. I will have had the baby, you know, it'll have been enough time for me to like recover, and so I'll just kind of check in and make sure that they can like access the textbook. And then there is another teacher who teaches 6th grade history, so they would be able to help my sub. And then even there's another person that's gonna come in and sub as well. So I feel like the online stuff is like the hardest, because different platforms just like look nothing alike, so it's a little bit hard to like figure out all that stuff. So you do kind of always want to have backup plans also of just like, this is the textbook. There is like a book for the teachers that has kind of like master copies you could make copies of little quizzes and activities and stuff that I would like never use. Like I never use stuff like that, but in the case of having a sub, that is probably going to be really important. So leave something like that behind so that in a pinch they could just make copies of this thing and just do it. So yeah, quarter 4 might be a little bit tough. For my 7th grade English students, this is the first year that I'm teaching 7th grade English, so I haven't ever used this textbook before. I've used the same curriculum for 6th grade and for 8th grade, and I already have lessons written for those, but for 7th grade, it's new to me. So yay! So I just went through and chose one of the units. If you use the 7th grade collections curriculum, it's called Guided by a Cause. I was familiar with a lot of the stories within that unit, so I used to teach those same stories in 8th grade when me and if you know Emily from Read It, Write It, Learn It, we did these like, you know, across the country. She's in New York, I'm in LA, and we did these literature circles with our students from all the way across the country. We've got to try and do that again. This year was not the year because I'm about to be gone, but those were like really fun. So anyway, I chose that unit because it kind of has like the same topics in it. So I went through again and just like picked stories that I think will be good. I read through the stories. Again, you don't use everything, right? And it would be a little bit tougher for a sub, I think, to just like determine like, okay, which ones should we do, which ones should we not do. But I picked like 3 or 4, and there's like questions at the end of the stories or whatever. So I just typed those into Google Documents and gave access to the sub as well, so then she can just put those onto Google Classroom, which she also has access to. There are quizzes that also go with some of the stories, and I just turned those into Google Forms. So if you just like create a Google form, under settings you can make it a quiz, so you can preset like what the answer key is, and so then my sub can post that to Google Classroom and the kids can take it and it will automatically grade it for them. So the quiz will be graded, the like question worksheets and stuff will just already be there, and they are all linked like within the lesson plan. So that should be a pretty easy one to teach through, I would think. I also included some videos and stuff that go along with that, just as like supporting materials. And then that leads into a good like informational writing unit. And so the textbook has instructions for like how to write an informational essay. Oh, hi, almost done. I get caught by the janitor every time. But like, that's a little tough. It's a little bit hard to go through. I mean, we even have these little like workbooks and stuff that kind of teach them how to write an essay, but like if you've never taught writing before, it's hard. So another thing from Emily from Read It, Write It, Learn It, I went to her Teachers Pay Teachers store and just downloaded, she has like units for teaching writing, and it's all on Google Slides. So usually when I teach writing as well, I like put everything they're gonna need into Google Slides. So it's like, this is your writing notebook, these are all the things you're gonna have to do, these are all of the instructions, these are all of the supports, here are some links, here are examples, everything. So that's what her unit has. And so that will be a very good support for both the kids and then also for the substitute. So I kind of like broke down, you know, how long it will take to get through that. I'm thinking it'll take about like 3 weeks really to write this informational essay. That's not like super long, but it just, writing is tough, you know? So this provides like so much support. It has a rubric, it has like peer evaluation, instructions, like a teacher conference little like checklist thing that they can go through. So that will take them up through quarter 3 as well. And then I just thought this was kind of fun. Like for quarter 4, we probably have time for like 1 more unit. Additionally, in quarter 4, they have to do like, they take the SBAC, which is our state test that we haven't done in a few years, but I guess we're bringing it back now. So like that takes a week at least, maybe a week and a half. And before that, you know, prepping for it, like probably a week or 2 weeks before, doing some like test prep, but somewhere in there, they'll probably also have time to teach one more unit. So in our textbook, there's like, I think 6 collections or units, you know, and I taught one last year. We're doing that second one, you know, as soon as I leave. So then they had like 4 different options for another one, and I just had them all vote. So I just like put them onto a Google form, of course. And I also had my English students like go into that online textbook, make sure they remembered how to get there and navigate around and find everything they needed. And they could see all the different collections. So I just had them vote on which one they want to do. So then for quarter 4, I'm just gonna write lesson plans that don't really have dates. It'll just be like maybe 4 or 5 weeks, 4 to 5, I don't know, something like that. Weeks worth of lesson plans that can just be implemented whenever they need to fit, because I don't really know the dates of like, can't remember when spring break is, and then the SBAC week, and then there's a couple weeks when my long-term sub will be out and a different sub will be here. And so hopefully they can just like follow that lesson plan. So again, I had to make sure to adjust the settings on all of those like documents where I just like typed up the questions and stuff, so that the sub has viewer access. They can make a copy and then put it on Google Classroom as an assignment. So it is nice to have like all of this, you know, good tech and stuff, and like the kids are pretty used to it. They've been using it for a long time, and then plus with doing virtual school and everything, it's nice to just have things all typed out and just able to like post, and it'll be pretty fast. So yeah, like technically I don't have to do this detailed of lesson planning, but honestly, when I come back in August, assuming that I'm still teaching 7th grade English, because they tend to change my schedule every year, but I'll have all these lesson plans. So, you know, I'm kind of doing my future self a favor. And when I teach, you know, I tend to do things a little bit differently than like reading a story and answering the questions and taking a quiz. Like, you know, we'll do a little bit more than that, but that's fine, you know? Honestly, I have noticed with these kids, because I think we as teachers are so concerned with like, we need to be on like DOK level 4, like let's just jump right over level 1 questions and level 2, and we need to have them doing like all analysis and da-da-da. But when you ask them a DOK, like depth of knowledge level 1, like just like a fact about something they read, I don't know about your students, but my students are not great at that. And just like even like constructing a sentence that is just like, the reason that the door was locked in the middle of the story is because this character did this. Like, their capitalization, punctuation is not where it should be. They're like not writing complete sentences, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know, I couldn't find it. Look again, it's there. So honestly, it's not like they don't need to practice those skills. Like, of course we need to be taking them beyond that, but we can't just jump over our DOK level 1s and 2s and stuff immediately and like never practice that stuff. So honestly, like if they can't write a coherent sentence that is answering a level 1 question, things are probably not going to go super well when we ask them to write a full essay with analysis and everything like that. So it's fine with me if they get a little practice doing some more basic stuff, because sometimes I think I just get, I don't know, too hyper, and I want to do something really different and challenge them and make it so interesting, and then like I forget to teach them the basics. So it's actually sort of nice to just like slow down and be like, what does the curriculum say? Okay, let's just do a bit of that instead of like always taking things to the extreme. Like we just did these fantasy lit circles that are like, I would have saved those for later in the year if I was gonna actually be here. But yeah. So anyway, all I'm trying to say is there's nothing wrong with doing some reading and doing some questions, and I'm sure just naturally like the kids will have questions and the sub will, you know, expound upon whatever I leave in those sub plans. But yeah, I also have a Google Slides file that has like a chart with all of the different seating charts for every period. So for all 6 periods, of course you got to leave them that, and then, you know, editing access so they can adjust that if they need to. I tried to do her a favor and like split up all the kids who need to be split up, but like It is a puzzle. There are only so many corners in this room, so I don't know. She's gonna have to see if this seating chart works for her. We just set it up today. What else do I have in there? See that? There we go. Not really. But within this folder, I just have like these 4 documents. So it's the English 7 lessons, History 6 lessons, seating chart, and then just things to know. So this was sort of hard to like think of like on the fly, like, okay, what categories of things do I need to tell her? So this might be helpful for you. Helpful people was the first thing. So like the other teacher that teaches 6th grade history, the other teacher that teaches 7th grade English with their emails, you know, so she could contact them if she needs any help. We have like tech people at the district that are the ones who come to our site, just like let her know those things. Oh, the daily slides. The daily slides are our lifesavers every single day. I've been saying this for years. I cannot function without the daily slides. I don't think my students can function without the daily slides anymore. Parents use them. They are like essential to keeping everything running. So I gave her access to the history slides and the English slides. And this is where we write down our objectives for the day, everything that's gonna happen that day, any homework that they're gonna be expected to do. And this has been especially helpful when we've had so many people out for like COVID related reasons. Either they, you know, just like had exposure, so they had to stay home for however many days, or they were positive and had to stay home for however many days. But today, finally, we only had like 1 or 2 absent in each class, but it's been like dang near half the classes, you know, lately. So those have been the way that students can like keep up. So I just explained, you know, how we start every day with those. So we always do. Those are up when they walk in. And then like my general rules and expectations. So lazy now, I'm 10 years in, so I'm just like, don't annoy me or be mean to each other and we won't have a problem. They wait outside till I let them in. They can't take out their Chromebooks until I tell them to, because they're never on the thing that they're supposed to be, and then they're not listening either. I have a little yellow doorbell to get their attention. That works pretty well. I have some like general Chromebook rules, can email parents. The thing that we have the most issues with right now, and I guess we have had for the past like 5 years, except during virtual learning, is, oh, my Chromebook is dead. Oh, I can't do my work because my Chromebook is dead. Oh, I lost my Chromebook. Oh, it's not working. It's about to die, whatever. Sometimes even accompanied with like a long story. Like, oh, I tried to plug in my Chromebook last night. I'm like, I don't care. I am not IT. I am not responsible for your Chromebook. You are responsible for your Chromebook. So I have a section in my room. It just says problem solving. Things to handle by yourself. Like, literally don't talk to me about this. I don't want to hear it. I cannot solve that problem individually for several kids every single period, every single day. And it tends to always be the same kids. And they tend to be the ones who are also always playing games. So they're running down their battery. And then my time is wasted. So no, we don't do that anymore. I'm gonna do a little room tour, and I'll show you that next video maybe. Okay, so yes, I have extra cords and extra Chromebooks, and if they need to borrow something, they just go over there and do it, and they don't speak to me about it because I do not want to hear it. I don't know if it's because I'm pregnant or because I'm just like an old grouchy teacher now or what, but certain things, after I've heard them 1,050 times, like I can't hear it again. I can't hear it again. We're done with that. So the next thing, like all of the history resources that we use, we have a physical textbook, an online textbook, a Weekly Explorer magazine, a workbook, and then like Newsella, vocabulary, listen-wise, like all of those are things to fill in. I really didn't leave any lessons with those things because I didn't want to like overwhelm her, but if she needed to fill anything in, those are good fillers. And then our English resources and curriculum, we use the collections textbooks. So we have the physical textbooks, and then like, you know, I've just listed like where they all are in the classroom. We have Scope magazine, which I've never used. I have hundreds of them in the packaging. It never occurs to me to use them. But those are there. Newsella, vocabulary, listen-wise, all that good stuff. I have a classroom library. This is the thing that is like making me a bit nervous. I am going to be walking away from my beautiful classroom library for the rest of the school year, and I'm letting students check out whatever books they want, whenever they want, for however long they want. That's always been the rule. We started using classroom book, not book source, book source? I don't know. Whatever that app is. It's fine, it's whatever. But again, that was just like another login and stuff I didn't want to have to leave with the sub. So there's a binder. You just write it down when you borrow a book. And then I have 2 responsible students in one of my classes. So they will take the books out of the book return basket and like put them back where they go. I also have these little signs that say like what each shelf is and how to put things back and stuff. So I'll show you that in the classroom tour video, but today I'm not standing up, so that will be for another time. Yeah, so cross your fingers that I don't come back to a destroyed classroom library. I think we'll be okay. I told them I would hunt them down if I did. I'm gonna come back on the last day of school and see how we did. I have all of their home addresses. Can you tell I'm 9 months pregnant and I'm like over it? Okay, there's also 2 periods of the day where we have like a collaboration class, so it's like a pushing class. So I have an aide who comes in to support some of the students. So all of their accommodations and stuff I didn't put in this document. You have to be pretty careful about where you write that kind of stuff down, anything that is part of a legal like IEP or 504. So she'll probably have to get that from the case carriers to make sure that she is you know, in line with all of those accommodations and everything. And the aide is here as well, who knows the students really well and knows what they need, and you know, we work together, so that's cool. We have our very confusing schedule I've shown you guys before. So I have a little magnetic schedule. Again, I'll show that to you later. And then like Power School is where we put grades in. So, you know, there's like different programs people put the grades in for. I don't like weight any of my assignments. It's just that like little things that are kind of just like a, okay, like we're checking off that you did it, are usually worth 5 points. Something more like, you know, the questions that you're answering at the end of a short story or whatever, that's like 10 points. Something that takes a little bit more of my focus to grade and your focus to do, like, okay, we have, you know, some more worth in those assignments. And then something that's more like an essay is like 25 points usually, or some kind of a project. So it kind of breaks down to an assignment a week, basically, like a graded assignment per week. There's like other things that they do in class and participate in, and you know, maybe like questions on Google Classroom and activities and stuff that they do in class, but it does break down at this point to like an assignment or 2 per week in both of the classes, in the history and then in the English. So for like history, it's like maybe one of the days of the week would be like a workbook page that they get like 5 points for, and then another day, like Friday or something, they would have like a quiz that they take on all the things that we were doing that week that's worth more like 10 points. So writing subplans really does help you reflect also on like, how does my class function? How do we do things? So when you have to explain to somebody else, it's like, oh yeah, okay, so like here, yeah, here's how this all goes. So that's why I thought this would be kind of a useful video for you as well, because this is also sort of like an overview of how I teach my classes. So yeah, that's about it. I can't even think straight. There are things I need to do. Oh, I need to write like thank you cards. That's actually at the top of my list. I need to bring some thank you cards for people tomorrow on my last day. And I need to go to Target. We need apple juice and peanut butter and jelly and bread. And I need to clean up this classroom. I'm gonna need some serious caffeine tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know how this is all gonna get done in one day, you guys. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful for you. If you have any other tips and tricks and stuff for going out on maternity leave, please leave those below. This is my first time and I'm just like guessing that all of this stuff is gonna work, so we'll see. We'll see if it does. This is my best guess. So we would appreciate your comments below as well. So thank you so much for watching. Do you want a little bump shot? Oh my gosh, I can hardly freaking stand. Here we have a 6-pound baby, probably like 6.5 pound baby that has about 1 more pound to go, and then she will be in this world. All right, guys, see you in the next video. Bye.